ask about Joshua, his place in the division, and maybe even our potential involvement.
We'll start right there.
Okay.
Give your thoughts on Joshua.
You know, I think he's got a tough fight, a really tough fight. You know, one of the things that became clear at the press conference is this is the first opponent in a while that is looking at Anthony eye to eye. He is, you know, similar size. You know, may not have, you know, the build that Anthony has, which very few fighters do, but from a pure height and size perspective, this is a tough matchup. You know, it's a high risk, you know, not so high reward matchup because he's not a big name. You know, Pulev isn't a name which, you know, immediately resonates with people beyond hardcore fans. So Anthony will probably not get the credit he deserves leading up to this fight because he's a big, strong guy. He's a tough opponent, and it's probably, you know, outside of Wilder Ortiz, you know, it's a very similar fight. You know, it is two top fight heavyweights meeting, you know, pretty much in the prime of their careers.
If Wilder and Joshua are both successful, would you like to see those two fight next?
You know, next, I know, you know, Anthony may have another mandatory obligation. You know, there's always that. I mean, I think we'd like to see it as soon as possible. Maybe from a business perspective, you know, we have Anthony fight once or twice in the U.S., you know, to get him acquainted with the audience. Or if the opportunity presents itself, go straight to the Wilder fight. I think either is good because that fight is going to generate its own visibility.
What would you guys be interested in doing a fight like that in England? He does huge numbers there. Like,
he does, you know.
With Klitschko, he did 80,000.
Yeah, he did, you know, 90,000 at Wembley. He's going to do 70,000 for Pulev in Cardiff, Wales. He's a phenomenon over there. He's one of the most recognized athletes, you know, in all of the UK. So the financial opportunity is great, but there's also a certain cachet to Vegas. I mean, there's nothing quite like a heavyweight fight in Vegas. It's just a different atmosphere. The financial opportunities are there as well, but just from a sort of buzz, a prestige, just a certain cachet. So I think you could make the case for both, or you do a deal like they did for the Klitschko fight, which was, you know, maybe it's a two-fight deal. You fight once in the UK, once in the US. Obviously that didn't happen with Vladimir when he decided to retire. But when you got two young guys in the prime of their careers like Wilder and Joshua, you know, it might be something you could do 2 or 3 times.
And one more question. The heavyweight division, there's a lot going on right now. What are your thoughts about Parker Fury?
You know, Fury is a tough one. Tyson is a tough one. You know, when he is, you know, focused, he's a very awkward, tough fighter to look good against. He's long, his timing is unconventional, he's sort of unorthodox, but he presents a unique challenge. With respect to Joseph Parker, you know, he's a little bit of an unknown quantity. You know, he's had a title, he is a name, not a lot of people have seen him, and he hasn't been tested, you know, among top-tier competition. So he's a very interesting fighter, and he's someone to keep an eye on. But he's also a question mark. Whether he belongs at the top or not still remains to be seen. You know, he's not quite. I wouldn't put him in the category of Ortiz, Wilder, Joshua, Pulev quite yet. He's certainly knocking at that door with a couple of high-quality wins. He's right there.